Hello guys, and today, right before the start of the Munich conference and after numerous unexpected positive comments coming in his address, the Kremlin dictator Putin decided to send his greetings to the Chernobyl sarcophagus with the Russian drone. It hit their protective shelter and the fire began. Luckily, the level of radiation is okay. Firefighters were in the place, but the International Atomic Agency, that is actually quite positive towards the Kremlin, had to confirm this extremely dangerous accident that could have led to the repetition of one of the greatest technological catastrophes on the planet. Please see the difference. When the new US administration keeps talking about positive shifts and very nice conversations with Putin, Putin reacts in a totally different way, showing who is the boss, unfortunately, on this planet. Here in Ukraine, we know how to stop him. We have developed a number of successful strategies, and my only address is please let us do the job. Let us finish this evil regime and thus make the world great again. So let's discuss what happened today in Chernobyl and also what happened on the Munich conference and why I'm happy that President Zelenskyy did not sign anything. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia and also protect yourself against the hybrid warfare that is very real, subscribe, we discuss all of that on the channel. You know that Chernobyl catastrophe, Chernobyl disaster was one of the greatest technological catastrophes on the planet. And a part of a number of various factors, much of this tragedy, many deaths and problems with people's health were also caused by the desire of the Soviet government to hide the truth. For almost a week, they were pretending that nothing happened, and only the reaction from Sweden, the measurements of the level of radiation, made the Soviet government speak. But it's not about hiding secrets and problems. It's about disposing millions of then Soviet people to radiation and thus causing lots of health problems and even deaths among innocent people, including children who were walking on the streets of Ukraine not knowing what happened in Chernobyl. Together with the world, we have built this sarcophagus to protect Ukraine and the world from the radioactive elements that are still dangerous on the place of the explosion above the fourth reactor. So quite symbolically, it's not the effort of Ukraine, it's the effort of many partners, many different countries in Europe and the world. And today, on the day of the start of the Munich conference, Putin targets it with a drone. The protective shelter above the fourth reactor of the nuclear power plant, Chernobyl, that is a symbol of all technological disasters on the planet. Literally, before the start of this war, unfortunately, Chernobyl perhaps was one of the first associations you had with Ukraine. And once again, all of these negative associations, war, Chernobyl, are coming from Moscow. So it was impossible to detect this drone because it was traveling on the heights of 85 meters and it was not sensitive, it was not catchy for radars, which once again proves that this was not an accidental, maneuver or drone losing the way. It was a planned, targeted action and a message. And I actually think it was not that much to us, Ukrainians, as to the world, to those leaders who will gather in Munich, and to President Trump. And luckily, it did not cause an explosion. The fire that occurred after the drone targeted the shelter of the fourth reactor, we put it down really quickly because Ukraine protects such objects Unfortunately, Zaporizhia is under the control of our enemy, of the occupants, but in Chernobyl, there are groups of people prepared to control everything, and they have stopped the fire really quickly, thus once again demonstrating how prepared and well-trained we are. Please subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. This means a lot to us, especially in this time, and like the video and share the video if you agree with me. So, once again, this is a very dangerous precedent and another form of Russian nuclear blackmail that Putin used perhaps for the first time since the inauguration of Donald Trump. We know that this nuke speak was one of his favorite strategies in times of President Biden. And now I see this huge contrast between what President Trump is saying, actually complimenting Putin, talking about the need to return Russia to G7 and, like hurting my Ukrainian heart and ears a lot. And we see the Russian answer, a drone to the reactor of the nuclear power plant Chernobyl. And all in the context that we need to end Russian isolation. No, I think we need to end Russian Federation. So anyway, from the perspective of Putin, and I can guarantee you that because unfortunately I come from this Soviet background, this goodwill that American president demonstrates, like talking to him, returning him, complimenting him, trying to understand him, is 100% seen as weakness by Russia. He does not consider that a strong negotiating point. He sees that I can threaten them, I demonstrate them that I'm the boss, the mafia boss, and I can get whatever I want, and I will continue. Because once again, if Putin is promised that Ukraine is not in NATO, if Putin is promised that the territories he occupied will be given to Russia, why would he stop? It's quite obvious with the speeches of, for example, J.D. Vance in Europe that the United States are not prepared to back up Europe. And it's quite bad that allies here are quarreling, and we see how closely China, Russia, and North Korea cooperate. And it's bad because I was Googling for the information about the supplies that European Union, countries of the European Union provided Ukraine with, and trust me, it's not small. In many cases, there are more things given by our EU partners than by the American. But I don't want to undermine any country because it's all very, smaller countries, bigger countries, but in total, there is also a great difference between the way people count expenses. Because in the European Union, they count the real price of a tank or a plane that they are giving to Ukraine, and Pentagon counts the price of a new one that it buys for the United States, forgetting that there is a huge difference between the price of, let's say, F-35 and F-16. But I hated that with Donald Trump, we are talking just about money or resources, forgetting about war crimes, forgetting about, this killed by Russia people and dug in the sands of Bucha next to the European capital. And forgetting Budapest Memorandum, forgetting the evil that Soviet Union was on this planet. And I hope that this narrative will change, and maybe some of the leaders of other countries will demonstrate that, it feels a little bit impolite. And I'm sure the time when even those good people who believe that, by appeasing Putin, by giving him all he wants, we can stop the war, they will see that it's just a great mistake that was made in 2014 when Putin was given Crimea, permission and so on. Because unpunished evil grows, that's what history teaches us. And, I observe with awe how everything like obvious is from my Ukrainian perspective, and how many people do not see what is coming if we keep appeasing Putin and if European and American allies quarrel and become weaker. And I do believe that control over social media is important, and I disagree here with JD Vance because I don't like what happened in Romania with a pro-Russian unknown person with 60,000 fake TikTok accounts that helped him promote the videos. That's not what we want, and that is not freedom of speech. That is just a platform for the Russian propaganda. And I'm very happy that President Zelenskyy had a number of meetings with our partners from the United States, with the Nordic countries, with the Baltic countries, with many, many, many countries. And he seems to be in the positive mood. But most importantly, he did not sign anything because he remembers the legacy of München in 1938. It was very wrong. And here in Ukraine, we learn on our mistakes and we don't plan on repeating them. That's why we need strong army. And if you want to back up Ukraine's paratroopers, here I leave a link to our campaign that is still in action. And I'm always grateful for all of the donations that you give. Together with Ukraine aid operations, we will provide all the necessary things to the elite of Ukrainian army. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. Thank you for joining me on X, Blue Sky, Threads, Discord, and Instagram. I'm looking forward to our live tomorrow, 9 p.m. Kyiv, our traditional time. I believe there are lots of questions to be asked and lots of answers to be given, and I will ask you some questions too. And check the merch shop. Today is St. Valentine's Day. Let me know in the comments below, how do you celebrate it in your countries? Here in Ukraine, it is an imported holiday. It became popular somewhere when I was at school, I guess. And that was the time when like boys would give you notebooks or sweets. And I think it remains quite a commercial holiday here. And like its popularity fades after you are out of your teenage years. Let me know how's that celebrated in your country, because in this crazy toxic news we need some positivity. And check our merch shop. We still have minus 13% for all the items. That is a good way to get something nice, and at the same time all of our products work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And thank you for holding this conversation. Thank you for sharing this videos. Join the community of the channel if you're new. And Slava Ukraini!